Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Thinking Pack. Now, you might notice that something is a little weird as I move around. Some of you might notice it. I'm not sure how it'll come through in the recording, but we are currently on 10 frames per second, and there's a reason for that. It's because there's a technique that I use often that I thought you guys might be interested in. So, basically, when I'm doing AFK work, like, for example, running a quarry or doing pretty much anything that I just have to wait and like leave the computer and go and do something else or whatever. I don't want the computer to be noisy, and computers, they don't wear out fast at all, but I don't want to wear the computer out any faster than I need to by giving it extra work to do. So a technique you might want to know is you can go in your video settings and set your max frame rate. So what usually happens to me, just with the particular computer that I have, so when I'm normally playing, I set it at a max of 120, and you might be wondering, wait, it shows that it's running at 60, so why would I set it at 120? Well, basically, it's running at 60 because of VSync over here is on, and frame rate over here, I am not sure if I want to set it at 60. I think I heard that if you set it at 60, sometimes so as not to go over, it will cut it down a bit more as well. I'm not too sure on that, but the theory is that it might hit like 45 or something like that more often because it's afraid to go over 60. So I go for a double of 60 and go for 120 just to keep it. I could probably just go unlimited just as easily, but figured that might be good, 120. But anyways, so that's a technique. I find that what happens to me is as soon as I set the limit down to 10, then I can go, and it is incredibly choppy, but it saves a lot of battery power, for one, on the laptop. So if I'm trying to do something in Minecraft while being on the laptop, well, of course, I'm always on the laptop, but if I'm trying to be on battery doing something, then it's incredibly helpful to set it on 10 frames per second, because then a couple things happen. One is that the graphics card is not running nearly as hard as usual, and the other thing that happens is that the fans, at least with the particular computer that I have, the fans go down. So like when it's running at a full 60, the fans are like running really fast and everything like that, and that takes extra battery power, and it's also really noisy in the room, and it's not very pleasant depending on what you're trying to do at the same time while you're AFK. So I find I set it on 10 and the fans go right down. The GPU stops being used so heavily, and so it's just like, it's an incredible difference in battery power and in noise level in the room, stuff like that. And it makes absolutely no difference that I'm aware of to the machines running the AFK machines and stuff like that. So I can just sort of stand there on 10 frames per second, and the computer's just sort of doing its thing, stuff like that. And it's really neat. So anyways, that's the thing that you might be interested to know. So, in any case, back to the point of this video. And back to 60 frames per second. Nice. So, what we are doing this time is we are continuing from last time, where last time I called the episode A Bit About Me. That's not what we're continuing this time, I don't think. But in any case, what we are doing is, well, I guess it depends how you define it, as far as if we're continuing that or not. Depends how you define it. But what we're doing today is continuing our project, which was to get this base in good working order. So, like last time we started working on this, where we got the first part of the base all sealed, except for a couple of holes and stuff. We got a room full of chests there for items, and we've got all kinds of different things happening. Basically, if you haven't seen previous episodes, basically what we're doing is trying to make a stealth base, like a hidden base kind of thing, that is incredibly difficult to find unless you know exactly where it is. And I think this is the perfect place to do it, because, for one thing, it's on a ridge, so it's inside a ridge, so it kind of adds that little element of, oh, like it should be obvious where it is, because it's like this big ridge sticking up out of the ground, and then it's like you can't find it. And the other thing is that I know personally, every time I die in this series, I can't find my way back. So it's quite a thing, and that's even with all these floating things and stuff all over the place, and that it's very, very difficult to find my way back, and I know where the base is already. So for somebody who doesn't know where the base is, well, I mean, that's just going to be incredibly challenging, and it's going to be a very, very good hidden base. So we're going to work on the interior design at some future time. And if you have any ideas for the interior design, what we should do with it and stuff like that, then let me know. That would be greatly appreciated. But in any case, whoop, wrong button. No, right button. Too many times with the wrong right button. But what we're going to be doing this time is we are going to be working on getting the rest of the surface working. So actually covering the base over, getting rid of that pipe, hopefully. I don't know, it all depends on how much time we have for different things. I'm hoping to take these machines. I think this generator system here, the lava elevator system that we were doing before, I think that it's not actually too hard to move it down like 4 blocks maybe and get it under the surface. So that is the plan, is to do as much as we can along that particular endeavor, and we shall see how it goes. And probably get rid of these cobblestones, and I don't think we'll do anything about the down, like the place down there just yet, but we'll have to see. So anyways, hopefully you enjoy the video, and how far down is it? I think if I jump this... Okay, I was going to do a crazy thing jumping off, but I think I'm going to die if I do that. Anyways, let's try it. Hopefully you enjoy the video, and here we go! Now, the first thing that you're going to be wondering, perhaps, is if you've seen the previous episode, we were working on, in our section of the base over there, section 2 is what we're going to call it. So this is section 1 that's in here. That's the only door entrance, which we're hopefully going to get to working on this thing, improving it and stuff like that this episode, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, how much time we have. But in any case, so in section 2, which is over there, which we might as well make the door to get in there. Where's the center? Roughly here. So let's make our doorway to get to section 2 of the base. Nice, here we are. So, the thing is, in section 2, we were setting up those turtles down there last episode to do our trick for using turtles to remove water. So the turtle water remover, we were trying that last episode, and it didn't work. I would set the redstone going, and they wouldn't move. And it was like, what is happening? Why aren't they moving? And all kinds of stuff like that. And I couldn't figure it out last episode. Some of you guys, if you've seen the last episode, you might have found the solution already. It's really quite simple. And it comes in the form of something that is around here. You may have guessed it already, what we were missing. Let's see if you can figure it out. Coal. We were missing some sort of fuel. Because here we go. We had nothing powering those turtles. And because we were in our own program, it didn't tell us. Because we had to actually, for it to tell us, we have to actually put in a function to check for the fuel level and stuff like that. Otherwise, it'll just try to go forward. or down or whatever and won't do it. That's the way it seems to work, at least. So let's go down here and try this again. So let's go ahead and put some fuel in the turtles. So let's go ahead and 1, refuel. There we go. And actually, is that even going to be enough? I think that's not going to be enough. Here's the thing. Those turtles, I think it uses 1 fuel point for every block that they travel. They have to travel 16 blocks on 1 row, and then go down 1, and then 16 again. I think we are on level, whoops, wrong button. We are on level 33. So that means minus the bedrock levels, they'll need to travel roughly 30 levels. And 30 levels, just calculating it here, getting the calculator, 30 times 16 is about 480. So we would need about 480 fuel points, if I did the math right. And as you can see, we currently have 80 fuel points from 1 coal. So this coal is going to be nowhere near enough to do the task at hand. So essentially what we're going to do is leave that till later. I think that might be the best course of action. And that oil we can leave till later as well. The goal for this episode is to get this section 2 of the base all like stealth, get it into stealth mode, I guess you could call it, and things like that. And so that is the idea. And perhaps deal with some of the other machines that are around. But section 3 we're going to leave till later. But if that energy pipe is out of the way, then it won't be obvious where section 3 is unless you're right on top of it, because there's nothing really, except for that cobblestone, which we'll get rid of. But there's nothing really... Why am I getting low frame rate? That's weird. There's nothing that's really showing that this section is here, except for that cobblestone pillar over there. So let's go ahead and get rid of that, and don't fall off. Don't fall off. That's not a good idea. So, essentially, what we are going to do today is... Well, actually, I already talked about that. What we're going to talk about today is various things. So, one thing is that I know a lot of you guys like ComputerCraft stuff. And hang on, just getting my notes here so that I remember everything I wanted to talk about today. The too many words. Too many words in the notes. Okay, that is all stuff to do. And then over here. Okay. So yeah, a lot of you guys really enjoy the ComputerCraft side of things. And so I want to do more ComputerCraft projects. I'm currently wondering why the frame rate is kind of low, but that's okay. Maybe one of the machines here, maybe it's that blueprint projector is lowering frame rate. I don't really know. But in any case, I have a lot of ideas for ComputerCraft projects, and let's go ahead and start doing some stuff. Let's go ahead and get rid of this cobblestone here. So one of the... No. Let's start with moving this machine down. There we go. That would be probably the smartest course of action. So let's build a room to get this machine into down here. So a couple of the ideas I have for ComputerCraft projects, and I don't know when I'll get around to doing them because we're currently working on Minecam and stuff like that, and yeah, so that's a thing. But a couple of the plans. One thing, that door over there that I showed earlier, the entranceway to get into the place, it needs a fancy door, basically. We're going to be, this episode, hopefully, depending on how much time we have, we're going to be dealing with... Which part do I move down first? Let's take this down first. How many blocks do we need to move it down? We need to move it down. That is the tallest point. So we need to move it down 1, 2, 3, and then one more to get it under the surface. So 4. So let's take these pipes and move them down 4 blocks, and don't fall down, don't fall down. Let's put this down here so that I don't fall down. And let's bring it down 4 blocks. So the idea that I have for that entranceway system is just to have basically turtles around the door, have them placing and destroying the blocks to get the door open and closed, And then eventually, perhaps, and this is just going like way like crazy with the ideas and stuff, but eventually perhaps having it on some sort of satellite location system with a pocket computer that I carry around so that I can go and open the door just by proximity, stuff like that. And that's an idea that I'd love to go for. And this jump I think is makeable. So let's just try to make this jump. No, that didn't work. Isn't this jump makeable? Pretty sure it's makeable, but that doesn't seem to be. So anyways, let's just ignore that. So that's an idea. So I'd like to get some turtles doing that and building up the let's see, down 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's 4. And it might be 5, but if it is, that's okay. We can do with 5 blocks. We can't do with 3 blocks, though. So hopefully that's 5 and not 3, and we'll be good to go. So that's an idea. So let me know what you guys think of that idea. I think that would be really, really cool. First stage, today I'm hopefully, like, we don't have the diamonds to get turtles for pickaxes and stuff, but what I might be doing today, if we get around to it after everything else, is doing a simpler system with one turtle that doesn't have a pickaxe, but it does have redstone that can... Ooh, hello. That's the place that the turtle goes up and down. So when turtle that doesn't have a pickaxe or anything, but it does have redstone so that it can control pistons that open and close the door, that is an idea that I'd like to go for today if we get the time. So let me know what you guys think of this whole project and the different ideas. I think that was 3 different ideas just there, but I'm not sure which. I'm not sure if it was 3 ideas. I think it was 3 ideas, depending on how you define it. Anyways, another idea that I had was plans for a base location system. So I'm not sure exactly how I would do that, the programming side of things, but because I've never gotten this advanced in programming. But if we could set up satellite computers around the place and then hook them in with my pocket computer, GPS location and stuff like that, and then have the pocket computer be like, oh, you're like 30 meters away from the base, or you're like 10 meters away from the base, and then I'm like, wait, I don't see the base anywhere, so where is the base? And then it's like, oh, well, it's obvious. It's just like over there and stuff like that, and perhaps even have a directional system, but I don't know about that. I think it would be... Oh, I think it would actually be fairly easy to do a system... I say it's fairly easy. It's fairly easy until you try it. That's usually the way it works with these things. But I think it would be fairly easy to set up a system to just tell me how far I am from the base, because that's just simply a matter of telling the computer, so setting up the satellite system so that the pocket computer can tell where it is, and then just basically set up in the pocket computer, tell it where the base is, like the location and stuff like that, and then it's like, oh, okay, so then it just does simple math to figure out how far it is away. So I'm thinking of getting to that project sometime in the future, and that is part of the plans when we get around to it. And we got the chest, got to move that on top of the pipe. So that's one thought. Another idea, which is a bit more complicated, but I think it's not too difficult to do. And, well, not until you try it, basically. Let's check this guy. Let's check. He needs to move down. I don't want to break him because I don't want to lose the program or whatever. Actually, is he labeled? Label set lava turtle. Okay, now he's labeled. So I want him to move down. So go down 4. And he's going to say out of fuel. Okay, and stick some fuel in. Refuel. This way we don't have to break and replace him. So go down 4. There we go. And we should see him land... What? Wait. Wasn't he supposed to be right? Oh, I see, because there's blocks in the way. That would do it. That would definitely do it. So let's just make sure that he's got plenty of room and we're out of pickaxes. Nice. So yeah, one idea that would be a bit more complicated, but I think is still doable, but I don't know how yet, is to create a system for storage, item storage. Use one of these sections. I don't know if we'd use section 2 or 3 or maybe section... I think section 1 would be our main, like, smaller machines. But set up a turtle system where the turtle would be up at the surface and he would be surrounded by chests. So the turtle would go down, like, in this row right here, and he'd be surrounded by double chests on every side. And then you just, like, type into the turtle, like, I want such and such an item. And, like, maybe redstone dust. And then he'd be like, oh, I know where that is. So then he'd go down. And what was I doing? What was I doing here? I do not remember what I was doing here. That's not a good sign. Actually, it's not even a sign, but it's not a good thing. What? Okay, let's just keep on. Making a pickaxe. That's what it was. So that's an idea. I think that would be fairly easy to do. Just tell the turtle, like, this item, go down to this chest, and then it would go down, and then it would spin around until it finds a chest with the item in it, and stuff like that. And that way we could have a double chest for every single item. So that is a thought that I'm going for. Let me know what you guys think of that idea as well. If you think that would be a great idea, or more challenging than I'm expecting, or pretty much anything. Let me know what you think about it. Anyways, we've got 2 pickaxes. That's going to be good. 2 pickaxes. Stick the extra stick in there. Haha, sticking the stick in there. That's a pun, I guess, of some sort. Anyways, so that's another idea. So different ideas like that. Let's just see if there's anything else. I think that we are good for... I think that's basically all the ideas that I had. So let's see if we can keep doing this. We got the turtles moved down a bit, and I think I'm going to move on to the next project and maybe finish this off camera or something. These guys are going to be a bit harder to move, just simply due to the fact that there's a lot of pieces around the place, but it's gonna be good. I'm gonna get it moved and probably do that off camera. I don't know. We'll have to see. Depending, there's a lot of things lined up to do this episode, so we're gonna have to see when we get around to it. So, anyways, cobblestone. We're going to need a lot of cobblestone because actually, no. You know what? I was going to do a double-layered roof thing with cobblestone and dirt, but I think that's not really necessary. I think let's just get some dirt and cover the roof over with dirt, and then we'd be good to go. And then I want to move that pipe down. That's another big thing to do this episode. So yeah, so that's basically it. That's basically, like, not it, but that's basically some things, some ideas that I had. And yeah, let me know what you guys think when I get back to doing the ComputerCraft side of things. Let me know which idea you guys would like to see first, and, I mean, I'll end up doing whichever one I figure out first, basically, because I need to figure out how to do the thing, and then actually do it and stuff like that. But I'm gonna, like, whichever one you guys suggest, I'm gonna try to figure that one out first and see. You know, sometimes when you're trying to work on one program, some inspiration hits you, and you figure, like, oh, well, that's how the other program could work and stuff like that. And so I'll see which one gets done first, but I'll definitely try working on the one that you guys suggest and get around to that as soon as we get back into ComputerCraft stuff. So that's the thing. So let's see. We got here, this is going to be interesting. So we've got to somehow make this look natural, and that's not going to be easy to do, because if we just keep doing the blocks, 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 blocks. There we go. If we keep doing this one layer, then it won't really look natural. You know what? I think let's fill in the rest of this layer, and then we can sort of work on top of that. And I think I'm going to fill it in with cobblestone, just so that we don't waste extra dirt, because dirt is somewhat valuable. So, oh yeah, the chests are down here. So cobblestone, cobblestone. Nice. Here we go. So let's go on like that and get some cobblestone over here. And fill in the rest of this layer with cobblestone. So here's the thing. So last episode I was talking a bit about me, basically. I think that was the title of the episode and stuff like that. So that's kind of obvious that I was doing that last episode. But in any case, one thing I talked about, and as at the time of recording this, you guys haven't really commented much, so I don't really know what you guys think of the last episode. And that just because I'm recording this episode, right now it's Tuesday before the Saturday that this is going to be coming out. So it's it's quite a long time. The video from last week hasn't really been out very long, so I don't really know what you guys thought of it and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully you thought it was good and stuff like that. One thing that I mentioned last episode was I was talking about how I play guitar a lot, or I used to play guitar a lot. I play bass guitar a lot now, and I mentioned that I was playing a lot in my church, basically. And I'm thinking, some of you guys might be wondering, basically, why would I go to church and stuff like that? Some of you guys probably not, but some of you guys are probably wondering that. So I figure, it's only fair to answer that question. So basically, the reason that I go to church is basically, it's actually a very simple reason. I should say the main reason, because there's multiple reasons. One is that there's a lot of sorry, getting tongue-tied. One is that there's a lot of really nice people there and stuff like that, and so it's really great. The main reason that I go to church, though, is because basically I love Jesus, and that's a thing. And now you may be wondering, why? Why would I love Jesus, basically? And so the reason for that is, well, first, here's the thing. So basically, the reason for that is because of some things that he said, basically. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever read the Bible or something like that. I'm assuming some of you have. Some of you probably haven't. Basically, here's a quick overview if you don't know much about how that works. Basically, the Bible is a book it's a collection of 66 books, basically. So if you're having trouble understanding how it's all put together and stuff like that, it's basically a collection of books written by a lot of people over a long period of time and stuff like that. So anyways, in some of those books, there's an overarching theme in the whole Bible. All of those books put together, there's an overarching theme, and that's summarized in one particular passage very, very well, and actually more than that, but there's one in particular. So in the Bible, in the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16, you might have heard of that one before, but basically it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life." And I mean, when you really think about that, that is just amazing. So basically what happens is none of us are perfect, and you probably figured that out by now, I'm assuming, most of you guys. And yeah, none of us are perfect, and including me. I know for me, I mess up all the time, and it's very, very frustrating. And here's the thing. Whenever we mess up and stuff like that and do bad things or whatever, we usually do bad things that God has said, like, that's bad, don't do it, basically. And then we go and do it. And it's not good. And it's not good at all. And basically, God, if you guys don't know, he's a just God, I think is basically how I want to explain it. So like he cares about justice and stuff like that. And so if we do things that are wrong, that are like against his like moral law and stuff like that, which I know I've done a lot, and it's not good. And I know everybody's in the same boat with that. But whenever we do something like that, we basically offend him, and then he he's just, like, he seeks justice and stuff like that, and so basically we deserve punishment, and the punishment that he laid out clearly, and you can read starting in the beginning of the Bible, actually, in the book of Genesis. He talked about we need, like, the penalty for sin. That's what it's called when we offend God. It's called sin. And the penalty for sin is death, and that's why people die and stuff like that. And not just that, but basically we get eternal death as well, in hell and stuff like that. And it's not fun. It's not a place you want to go at all. And that's what we all deserve. But basically what happened is God didn't like that. He created us so that we would love him and stuff like that. And that's basically the thing. So God decided, just because he's God and he wanted to, because he is just, but he's also full of like mercy and grace and stuff like that. And you might have heard of those before. But basically what that means, mercy is not giving someone a punishment they deserve, and grace is giving someone a blessing they don't deserve. And he's just and has to punish evil and things that are wrong and stuff like that, but he's also full of mercy and grace, and so he wants to forgive, basically. But he can't do that being just, needing to hand out the penalty for what we do wrong. And so what he did is he sent his son Jesus to go and die for us in our place. And you can read all about that. I'll give you some references and stuff if you want to read about that in a minute. But basically, he sent Jesus to go and die instead of us, so that we could be forgiven, and we'll eventually, after we die, then we'll go to live with God forever, and it's going to be amazing. If we, the only thing is if we accept Jesus as our Savior and as our Lord, basically. And that means, we want to do what he says to do and stuff like that. And not because, here's the thing, most of the religions in the world and stuff like that, they talk about, I need cobblestone. They don't talk about needing cobblestone. But most of the religions in the world, they talk about you need, to do a lot of good things, and then God will somehow forgive you and stuff like that. And, I mean, that seems to make sense. And the trouble with that, though, is that it doesn't work. Because, I mean, for what we've done wrong, we deserve death. And you can never do enough good things to pay that penalty. There's no sort of measurement that works for that. And so basically what God did, and you can read about this in the Bible, he basically sent Jesus to die instead of us because we couldn't pay that penalty. So Jesus paid the penalty for us. And so then that's basically what he did. And that's why I love him. And as far as doing good things and stuff like that, we, like, as Christians, we try, like, the way it's supposed to work, basically, is someone who's a Christian doesn't do good things because they'll somehow get more favor with God, and like get to heaven or something like that, but they do good things because, well, here's the thing. There's another verse that actually sums it up very well. So one of the command that Jesus gave to us as Christians, which I still like mess up on all the time, and it's not fun, but not fun to mess up. But the command that he gave was he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And he said that's the greatest commandment. And the reason we do that, it says in another place in the Bible, it says that we love because God first loved us, basically. So the reason we would love our neighbors or love God or anything like that is because God loved us first. That's the thing. So, but anyways, yeah, so basically that's all there is to it. It's just basically realize, you know what, I've done a lot of bad things that are like sinning against God kind of thing, and you ask God to forgive you, and you make Jesus your Lord just because you love him for doing what he did for you. And here's the thing as well. The reason that I'm mentioning this now is because it's Easter, actually. It's Easter weekend when this video is going out, and that's kind of the whole like point of Easter. That's the whole theme of it and stuff like that. And the really neat thing, well, there's a lot of really neat things, but one of the really neat things is that Jesus didn't just die. Like, if you read the story, which I'm going to give you some references to if you want to read it in a minute, but after Jesus died, he went and on the third day from dying, he went and rose from the dead. And now, I believe that he's alive right now. And, like, he ascended up to heaven, so, like, he's not in a physical body on Earth yet, but he is coming back. I believe he's coming back one day to come back and all that kind of stuff, and it's really great and all that. But yeah, so that's basically the thing. So yeah. So I don't know if you guys have heard that before or not. Actually, I'd be quite interested to know if you guys want to tell me. You don't have to tell me, but yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that before, but that's what the situation is, and that's why I love Jesus, and that's why I go to church, because church is basically, it's a gathering of, it's not always this way, but it's a gathering of Christians who love Jesus and stuff like that. That's the idea, and that's the way God designed it to be. So yeah, so that's the thing. So if you want some places to look up, basically, obviously, I'd say look up John 3:16, and I would read the whole chapter of John 3 if you guys want, because that's amazing. It's really neat, and because you get a lot of the context and stuff like that he's talking there. He's talking to a guy who was he's called Nicodemus, that guy, and he was one of the religious leaders at the time. So when Jesus originally came, there were, like, he came in Israel, and then there was a bunch of, like, people, and one of the leaders of the country, one of the religious leaders at the time, went to talk to Jesus and ask him some questions, and so Jesus was answering him and stuff like that. And that's basically what that place was. That chapter was talking about that, and I find it very, very interesting reading. And so yeah, I definitely say go and check that out. A couple of other places are, let's see. So you may have heard of, let's see, what do we need done here? We need a little bit more, we have a bit of a curve like that there. I think we should smooth this out a bit more and fill it out a bit more as well. So the Easter story, the Good Friday story and the Easter story and stuff like that, which is really all one story. There's good places to look that up are in the Bible. You find what's called the gospel means good news, basically. That's the good news of Jesus coming and doing what he did and stuff like that. And that's amazing. So basically there's what's called the Gospel of Luke. I would say that's probably a good place to start. Actually, the Gospel of John is very nice, very smooth reading, very easy reading, I find. So that's probably a good place to start. Just like in the Gospel of John, there's, for the Easter story, somewhere around chapter 18 to like the end of the book kind of thing. So that might be a good place to start. You could also read in the Gospel of Luke. So by the way, the Gospel of John, what that means, that just means that this guy called John wrote it and stuff like that. The Gospel of Luke was written by Luke, and it's set up to be like an orderly account kind of thing. You can read that in the first chapter of it. It talks about that. But basically, it was designed to be an orderly account written from eyewitnesses who actually saw Jesus on earth and stuff like that. And so it's really neat. And so that's the thing. And they were all written from eyewitnesses and stuff like that. But the difference with Luke, I think, is just the orderly part of things. And I think we need more dirt to fill this out a bit more, but I think we're getting pretty close to the filling out of the dirt. There's also the Gospel of Mark, which you might like. So in Luke, it was like chapter 22 to the end, kind of that sort of area. The Gospel of Mark, chapter 14 to the end, it's a shorter book. It's very fast-paced in terms of the reading. So that's really neat. Very fast-paced book. I find, like, when I was reading through it, like, of course, I know the story already, but I was wondering, it seems like there's a whole lot of different points, like, not points, but a lot of different things that are just, like, thrown at you really fast and stuff like that, and it could be a little confusing to follow, but if you like fast-paced things, then maybe it's worth a shot. And it's also in the Gospel of Matthew. I didn't look up what the chapters are for that one. So, but it's somewhere in there. But yeah, so I definitely recommend reading some of those and stuff like that. If you guys are looking for something to do over Easter, if you, for whatever reason, you just don't have much to do, then I'd say, yeah, definitely go ahead and pick that up at least. Try it and see what you think of it. And that kind of stuff. So that's really neat. Let's see, we got here. It's kind of hard to tell without the grass, but I think it looks pretty good. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. What do you think of this mountain here? It looks very, I think it looks fairly smooth and even in with the mountainside. It would look better once we cover over that part of the quarry there because it's got the big wall there. So I think it would look a lot better after that. Let's check on our lighting situation, and let's also dig through the place here to get more light. Oh, nice! So we got those 4 lights in the situation, and it is so bright in here. It looks to me almost like we didn't even close the roof. You know, it looks just very, very bright in this place. I like it. It's very nice. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the way this is turning out. And I think I might go ahead and start filling in some floors. I'm not sure about that, but maybe that might be a thing on the agenda. let's go ahead and start getting that pipe down under the surface. And I think that just about wraps it up as far as what we want to do this episode. So let's see. We've got over here, does this look finished, except for the grass growing, of course. It needs to have that pipe removed. I need to get those machines back down. Not removed, but moved down a few blocks. Just stuck into the ground going along there. And let's see. We need to get rid... Oh, almost fell in. We need to get rid of these cobblestone things that are sticking out, because they're going to be quite conspicuous. Conspicuous, sort of like a white chicken over there on a green and brown hillside. That looks very conspicuous. Conspicuous, I think that basically means that it stands out. So, yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, so that's kind of the idea. So I think I'm going to finish getting rid of that pillar. I don't think I'm going to move the blueprint projector just yet. I think we're going to leave that outside for now. But I think we're pretty much good to go. The grass is already starting to grow. So I'm going to get this pipe moved down, and I'm going to... Let me just make sure there's nothing else that we were going to do this episode. Run the turtle water remover. We tried to do that, but found we didn't have enough fuel because we're out of lava down underground. Set up floors in the base. I'm going to do that off camera. You've already seen me do that in this section of the base, so I don't think we really need to do that on camera again. Close off the roof in section 2. We did that. That is nice and closed, and I think it looks pretty good. If you guys have any suggestions for how to blend it into the mountain better, if there's anything that looks irregular or unusual about this, then let me know. Remove traces of base section 2 from the surface. I think that's actually done. There's no traces left of section 2 of the base, except for the dirt that's going to grow over. But we've got here a lot left from section 1, so I think we're going to keep moving that. And this rolling machine is probably the easiest thing to move, so let's do that pretty soon. I'm going to do that off camera as well. Actually, no, I'm going to do it right now. We've also got... Let's go ahead and actually stick that down beside the other... No, actually, it needs to be beside the power. So let's put it somewhere. Let's put it to the back of this room, I think might be a good idea. Let's start by putting it in here. This is the storage room, but I think it could go here for now. We'll eventually move it into a bigger room for it. Let's see. Make the turtle auto door. We didn't get to that yet, but I think we'll have to save that for another time. So, yeah, so that's the idea. I don't know if we even have enough materials. I think we have enough materials to make the pistons, but I'm not sure about that. So that's the thing. But anyways, we'll have to get to that sometime fairly soon, hopefully. And yeah, so that's the idea. Actually, let's just, before we end off the episode, let's just go ahead and check, make sure we're all set up, ready to go for that piston door. We have, all we need is, we could take one of the turtles from our water remover system. So that's the easy way to do it. And then we've got here, oak wood. We've got wooden planks, which are great. I'm guessing we'll need 6 pistons. So, like that, and then we need a bunch of iron, and then we need a bunch of redstone is somewhere in the area. No, it's not. Where'd the oh, it would be all up top over here. So let's go ahead and get that. And then I think we're basically good to go. So, yeah, so I think next episode we'll work on the turtle automatic door system. It won't be automatic yet, but it will be like on the push of a button. Because for automatic, we would need like a pocket computer or something to do the way that I'm hoping to do it. So, but it would be like on the push of a button. So that's the idea. And you know something we really need? is a crafting table in here. There we go. Crafting table, crafting table. Nice. Let's put the crafting table down here. Where do we want to put it? Right here. Nice. Okay, so we can make some pistons. We're good to go. And yeah, so I think next episode we're going to go ahead and make some pistons and continue that automatic door thing. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It was another bit of an unusual video. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, I definitely recommend checking out some of those references, or at least one of those references that I mentioned, if you guys have some extra time on the Easter weekend, which is the weekend that it is right now at the time this video goes out. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think and stuff like that, and suggest which kind of project, which one of the projects, the ComputerCraft projects, you think that I should start on first, or whatever. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and see you later. Bye-bye!